Table salt is a dangerous salt. Seawater contains 92 minerals. Approximately 30% is sodium, 50% is chloride, because we now have two very harsh minerals that if you were inject both of those into the blood, you would die.
So there are millions of things that if you inject them into your bloodstream, you would absolutely die. But are sodium and chloride so harsh that if they are injected into the bloodstream, it would result in death? If you've ever been to a medical office, you may have seen something like this and thought to yourself, what's that funky pouch? Within that pouch, we have a solution called saline. Saline is made entirely out of water, sodium, and chloride. And we use saline infusions for things like dehydration, hypovolemia, hemorrhage, sepsis, metabolic alkalosis, fluid loss, and sodium depletion. There are over 1 million liters of intravenous saline administered to patients worldwide on a daily basis. While we probably should not be trying to determine the healthfulness of a substance based on whether or not we can inject it into our bloodstream, the most common injection worldwide is a solution containing just sodium, chloride, and water. However, that statement was used as evidence for her next hypothesis.
Salt will contribute to high blood pressure. There's a French doctor named Dr. Lelangri, and he's written a whole book on salt. He said, when people come to me with high blood pressure, I put them on Celtic salt. Why does he put them on Celtic salt? Because Celtic salt contains 82 minerals. And one reason is that the Celtic salt has 3 magnesiums. It contains magnesium.
It is absolutely true that excessive sodium consumption, typically coming from salts, can increase your risk of developing high blood pressure. And we don't have any studies directly comparing Celtic salt to table salt, but we do have one study comparing Himalayan salt to common table salt. For blood pressure in hypertensive individuals, find that both salts contribute to an increase in blood pressure. In fact, the only salt that we currently have evidence for reducing blood pressure is a salt that actually replaces sodium with potassium. And these are salts marketed as no-salt sodium-free alternatives that you can find in essentially every grocery store. With that being said, let's take a second to talk about Celtic salt. It is true that Celtic salt contains calcium, iodine, magnesium, and potassium. However, if we do some very quick calculations, for the sake of simplicity, let's take 10 grams of Celtic salt. This would get you 3,120 milligrams of sodium, which certainly surpasses the RDA for sodium, which is less than 2,300 milligrams. And with this, it would provide you 19.6 milligrams of calcium, which is about 2.45% of your daily calcium requirements, about 30 milligrams of magnesium, which is about 7.5% of your daily magnesium requirements, and 10.8 milligrams of potassium, which is less than 1% of your recommended intake for potassium. The reason why different varieties of sea salt do not make meaningful differences on blood pressure is almost assuredly because the concentration of these extra minerals inside of Celtic salt is not high enough to offset some of the deleterious effects of extremely high sodium consumption. And importantly, Celtic salt will run about 84 cents per ounce, whereas table salt is approximately 2.6 cents per ounce. Therefore, the additional money that you are spending on table salt may be better spent on fruits and vegetables, which will provide you much higher concentrations of things like potassium and magnesium, without a drastic increase in your sodium consumption, and do truly appear to demonstrate consistent benefits on reducing blood pressure. In the grand scheme of things, although Celtic salt may be more expensive and have better marketing strategies, we don't currently have any evidence that it would make a meaningful impact on blood pressure, nor would we expect it to due to the low concentrations of many of these nutrients reported to have blood pressure improving benefits.